off of a really successful week. And, Coach, thanks for your time. Let's start there. I imagine when you built this schedule, you knew that you were testing your ball club, and a 3-1 week has got to be a passing of that test, right?
Oh, absolutely. It was, I think, 8 games in 9 days, and, kind of forces you to use some arms. But all in all, pleased with the start for sure.
Well, let's flash back all the way to the midweek and your win over Mississippi State. Colby Allen in particular, a guy from Starkville, that was the big story after the game, shut down Mississippi State's lineup. I'm curious, as you talk with him before he gets a start against a team in which, he was in their backyard and they didn't recruit him. Did you use that as motivation? Did you remind him of that, or is that something that you don't talk about with him at all?
Not at all. Not at all. Colby's he is such a competitor. You don't have to, do anything extra with him. There was, that story is something that, really doesn't matter, honestly, So he was a guy that he wanted the ball and he wasn't going to make it bigger than it was, just going to go try to help his team win.
Coach, that shutout against Mississippi State was part of a 20-inning streak for you where you pitched back-to-back shutouts and going back to last Sunday against Lafayette. Your pitching staff early on, is looking great, and I know that's something you're going to take some pride in, being your career being what it is. But, this early in the season, has this pitching staff even outperformed your expectations?
Probably so, just because there were so many first-timers, first time in certain roles. You got a lot of freshmen throwing their first time, getting college innings. So you don't ever truly know till the live bullets start flying. But all in all, I've been pleased, with how they've competed, and we got room for improvement, and going to have to continue to grow for sure.
But you're getting it done here on both sides of the field here. The pitching has been outstanding. But from a hitting perspective, of your 76 hits as a team, 33 of them have gone for extra bases. So basically, it's 1 out of every 3 hits. You're probably driving in a run with what you're doing right now. What are your hitters doing that they're seeing? This time of year, you think the hitting is trying to catch up, but it feels like your guys maybe a little ahead of the game.
Well, I think there's some experience in the lineup. That helps tremendously. I think it has the chance and the potential to be kind of a long lineup, but they've got to continue to do things and work on, when a team's attacking us a certain way, being able to, flip that script a little bit and stuff. But all in all, obviously we're critical of our guys, but all in all, I think they're competing well. I think they're a close unit, and I like the rhythm. We just, like I said, got to continue to keep it up.
You've got an ace in Middleton that's just been outstanding through 2 weeks. My question about him in particular and how you manage him, though, is how do you balance allowing a guy to just keep mowing through a lineup? And, do you have a set pitch count that you want to keep him on early in the season? How do you balance having a guy like him on your staff and making sure that he's good to go for the long haul?
Well, that's a great question, and that's something you got to, learn. Every individual is different in how they handle the workload. If you're hoping you're getting 15 or 16 starts through the season, and there's going to be ups and downs, and so when you can take it easy on him, and maybe if you have a bigger lead in the pitch count, you don't have to get it quite as high and things like that. But he's proven to me that he's maintaining his stuff at this point, as the innings as the pitches progress. So I was glad to see that because, again, that was kind of unknown waters for him. So, just going to be ultra cautious with him, just like I am with all the guys, and not try to overdo him.
Coach, I know a lot of northern teams this time of year have to play road games. I don't know a lot of teams in the South that'll be playing 4 straight road games this early in the season, but that's exactly what your squad has to do. What do you think about this week coming up and the opportunities it's going to give your team to really make an early statement as far as a resume goes here in the closing week of February?
Well, I think we'll learn a lot about ourselves, and they're going to be dog fights. Ole Miss tomorrow, TCU the weekend, and then I think at Mississippi State next Tuesday. So it's that's 5 in a row. That great programs on the road, hostile environments. So we're going to learn a lot about each other, about us, and there's going to be some storms and there might be some scars. You just got to keep fighting through it and just growing and go out there and try to compete and play the best game of baseball that you can.
That being said, game in Oxford tomorrow night. Who have you decided to put on the mound for that one? And are you going to take another whole staff approach, or do you want to see somebody go deeper into the ball game?
it'll probably be a pretty good, staff game. We're going to start McCarty English, trying to get him going. He's thrown once for us this year already, and a guy that was, superb for us last year. Just trying to get him back out there going, and he'll get us out of the gate. But I would expect that you would see, several arms, and because you want to do everything you can to win tomorrow, and we will. And but also you don't want to, limp into TCU Friday.
Coach, your program has used the transfer portal, but not often. But you have a guy that's so hot right now. Hey, Dad, there's a movie reference for you. And Joey Urban, the transfer. So what can you tell us about him?
He's a good hitter, man. He was, Big East Freshman of the Year. Then, all Big East last year as a sophomore. He's got a really good hit tool. He can hit for a little power. He can hit for average, and he's one of those guys, in my opinion, that you have to execute pretty good. Against, you can't just flick anything in there. There's definitely a pattern you got to go at him with and stuff. So anytime a hitter has that kind of identity, it makes a pitcher have to be on their point, be on their game, and execute, or he can hurt you.
Well, what's that scout like for somebody in the transfer portal? And every league is different. Some obviously better than others. When you're watching film on these guys to try to figure out if he fits in your program, what is the biggest difference from somebody like in the Big East coming down to the Sun Belt, where up for opinion, the Sun Belt's a better league or has more pitching? How do you evaluate guys like him?
Well, you look at the video, you look at the history. What does his story say after 2 years? His characteristics of strikeouts to walks, his hits, all that good stuff, and then you just really lean on people you trust that knows the young man and what kind of person he is. Is he a right fit for Southern Miss? Is he a right fit for our culture and stuff? And I think that's real important in this portal game, to make sure you bring in the right guys, right people. And he certainly checks all those boxes. My assistant coaches did a great job of identifying him and getting us in that door, and thankfully being able to land him.
Coach, I think I'm gonna ask all three coaches. We talked to you, we talked to Coach Lamonis, we're going to talk to Coach Bianco today. We had such a warm January, and Coach Lamonis brought it up last week. He said that was really great for helping ramp the pitchers up, because you weren't so worried about the injuries that the cold can bring. But then when the weather changes the way it did last weekend and we have another cold weekend, does that affect the way your team is able to, look at these games in terms of, hitting in cold weather can be difficult sometimes? You had great weather when you were practicing, and then last week it was cold again. Is there anything to that?
Well, I think it certainly makes a difference. Just the colder air and stuff, the ball doesn't seem to travel quite as far. Sometimes it's harder for the pitchers maybe to reach their peak end of velocity, just harder to stay as loose and as limber. So it certainly is an element, and you just got to kind of work through it and do the best you can to stay as warm and stay as loose as you can. But, I don't know if there's a secret formula for that, but because everybody's a little different. But it definitely makes a difference. And you're right, we were very fortunate those 3 weeks leading to the season to have just great weather to get our reps in and get our work in.
Coach, your team finally appeared on the D1 poll. It's something that we've been talking about a lot going into this season. We had your back
on that one, Coach. We told everybody that would listen your team should have been ranked.
And you finally are. Is that something that you try to guard against with your team? Do you let them see something like that? Do you care? I think I already know the answer to this one, but do you care at all about national rankings from guys like at D1?
I mean, we're very thankful. We love that. It's a program thing, and I'm happy for the program, happy for our fans, happy for those that were before us that built this program. But for us, it's just that's nothing that we can control either way, and we just need to go out there and just take care of what we can, and that's being prepared to go compete every time it's play ball and trying to play the best game of baseball that we can. But very proud of that, no doubt. But it don't mean anything. Not going to get you anything. You got to go out there and earn it.